Hello and welcome to California CEO Magazine at californiaceo.net. I'm Jeff Allen. On its website, the Inland Empire Regional Chamber, or IERCC for short, says it's working to ensure the Inland Empire region of Southern California will become the most economically prosperous region and the most desirable place to live and work in the United States. On this segment of California CEO, we're about to learn a lot more about the IERCC, its objectives, and its place in the business landscape, straight from its president and CEO, Michelle Garton. Also joining me today is the president and CEO of Alltech Media Group, the publisher of California CEO Magazine, and now official IERCC media partner, Dwight Cromie. Michelle and Dwight, welcome. It's nice to have you both.
Thank you.
Give us kind of a brief overview, Michelle. We'll start with you. A little bit about the IERCC and kind of your strategic principles, the objectives. What are you all about?
Well, the Regional Chamber of Commerce is about supporting the business community as a region. We operate with 5 core strategies within the Chamber. Focusing on sectors within the region. So currently we have 25 sectors that we're focusing on. Our 5 core strategies are collaboration, economic development, workforce development, and education, and of course membership services as well. Tourism is another strong impact that we see happening within the region that we're focused on. So the mission is to support the business community and within the free enterprise.
Now, Michelle, the Chamber has partnered with California CEO Online Business Magazine to form a brand new program called Regional Insights, and that's coming up very, very soon here. Tell us a little bit about the overall goal for this program, what this program is going to entail, and why California CEO is such a good fit. And we'll talk to both of you about that, but Michelle, first of all, let me get kind of your take on that, first of all.
Well, the Regional Chamber is focused on collaboration. And California CEO, we find, is one that their goal is to focus on regional collaboration, which obviously is part of our mission. And Dwight, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit more about it.
I'll kind of jump in, because what California CEO Magazine has been doing for the last 4 or 5 years is to work on developing economic development for this region. For years and years and years, the region is focused on or marketed to this region. So we've kind of marketed to ourselves. So what we're trying to do is show not only businesses in this region why this is a great location to stay in, but also to educate the rest of the country what is going on in this region and in Southern California. I mean, when you talk about manufacturing, energy, education, we're doing it all here. We are the leader, but most people don't know that because we do a very poor job of telling our story. So our job is to work with businesses in the region. We have a new section called Manufacturers Corner that is dedicated to helping the manufacturers industry. And when we met with Michelle and learned more about what the Regional Chamber of Commerce was doing, it was a perfect fit, because it's all about collaboration. It's about bringing all the chambers together, all the cities together, the counties together, to promote and develop this region economically, educationally, and grow this industry or grow this region.
So let me go back to you, Michelle. There have been a number of strong chambers of commerce in the Inland Empire for so many years, and you can go right on down the list. Let's talk a little bit about how IERCC is working with those chambers in this area.
We're working with the local chambers, basically collaborating with advocacy. Advocacy is obviously something that the chambers of commerce focus on. And I've been in the industry for 15 years now. And I've seen the transition between a local chamber and a regional chamber and kind of the collaboration between them all. The other areas such as San Diego County and Los Angeles County all have a regional chamber of commerce. So the Inland Empire now has their own regional chamber of commerce. We're here to support and provide resources to the local chambers as well.
Now, Dwight, you've been, I know, a member of many of the local chambers for many years, and as now publisher of California CEO, you have your kind of your fingers on the pulses of many businesses and the operations of these chambers and how they work together and independently. But how do you view the importance of a regional chamber to serve this area? How significant is that to you?
Well, no one lives in a cocoon. I mean, we need to reach out regionally to promote these businesses. Even if you take a small business owner, he doesn't just do business in, say, the city of Riverside or the city of Corona or the city of Rancho or the city of Ontario. Most of these businesses have a 10 to 15 mile radius where they're actually reaching out to multiple cities. So does that business belong to just one chamber? No, I think he needs to belong to multiple chambers. But for most, they can't do that. But to be able to belong to their chamber in which they work and live in that city is important. But to also belong to a regional chamber to help expand their business is vitally important. This region is not going to succeed unless we collaborate. The chambers need to come together, the businesses need to come together, and we need to promote this region as the place to do business.
And Michelle, you believe that there has been too much there's been a lack of collaboration really up to recently. I mean, have you seen that kind of in your experience where the businesses have had kind of a tough time succeeding because they've kind of placed themselves on their own little private island without getting that feedback and that support from other businesses? Is that kind of what you've seen in the past?
It is. It is, unfortunately. And one of the things that we provide as well is what we tell the businesses. We encourage them to join their local chambers. And when they're ready to brand themselves regionally is when we also now at this point sit down with them and encourage them to see what we can do to help and assist them with branding regionally. So yes, there has been a challenge with businesses. However, times have changed and it's time for this region to come together.
And so this kind of plays into my next question, which is the one region, one voice mantra, which is, Inland Empire Regional Chamber has kind of made this their operating, their kind of theme, if you would. I mean, what does that mean to you? How important is that, particularly in this day and age?
Oh gosh. Again, let's go back to just the word of collaboration. I think it's so important that we bring those business leaders together, because it's what it's going to take to draw to this region business attraction, business retention. It's just vital for this area. One region and one voice, I think, sums it up. As a Chamber of Commerce, we serve as a liaison between the public and the private sector. And so bringing this all together as one region and one voice, it just makes us that much more stronger and competitive.
And I'd like to follow up on that. Actually, we just did a video podcast with former Mayor Ron Leverage. He does a series on Intel California CEO called the Lewis Foundation Seminar Series. And he just recently did a program on regional collaboration and how important it is. Mr. Leverage he's always been a regional collaborator. He's done an excellent job, and he sees where we need to go. So in our magazine, there's an excellent story done by Ron and the University of California at Riverside on regional collaboration. And one of the things that we're trying to do in the magazine is that same thing. With our new Manufacturers Corner section, most of the manufacturers work and live in their silos. And so they don't know what another manufacturer is doing. They're struggling to move forward. So what we're trying to do is have the manufacturers to come together and collaborate with one another. For instance, one of the weeks, we broadcast this every Wednesday at 10 o'clock. So once a week, we have a manufacturer come in and give his advice or experience on what he did. We recently had Roy Paulson from Paulson Manufacturing come in and talk about disruptive technology and what that meant. We also have a plant tour where we go out and we visit a manufacturing facility to show those looking for alternate careers what's available to them. And that all happens with collaboration. And so basically, Manufacturers Corner is a program for manufacturers from manufacturers. What we're going to be doing with the Regional Chamber is Regional Insights, and basically it's going to be very similar. We're going to bringing in these large-scale companies. Why are they working or doing business in this region? You know, how are they doing business successfully? We want to share these secrets. We want companies in this region to do well.
The inland Southern California region, which it seems to have been in isolation for so long, kind of in the shadows of Los Angeles County and in Orange County and San Diego County, in some cases maybe Ventura and so forth. Let's kind of define what the inland Southern California region is, Michelle, and I'll start with you. I mean, what makes the region itself an attractive choice for businesses that may want to consider doing business and setting up here?
Infrastructure, land. It's something that we have here. And I'm finding as a Chamber of Commerce, as a regional Chamber of Commerce, that we have those that want to invest within the region. We've had partners that have come in that want to invest into the Riverside area and San Bernardino area. And it's something that we have is plenty of land and strong infrastructure.
It's not just affordable land or land to grow. We have an educated workforce. We have, I believe, it's 32 colleges and universities within the inland Southern California region.
So human capital.
Human capital. We also have, we're the logistics center of Southern California. This is where everything goes through or passes through. We're centrally located in this region to LA, Orange County, and San Diego. So we're in the center. We're the hub of Southern California. So why wouldn't you want to do business here?
And as far as the transportation corridor is concerned, too, rail lines right from the ports right through the areas. They come right through, and they have to go through the Inland Empire, Riverside, for example. Of course, a major center point for all the rail traffic going east and west.
Well, a good example is, you know, Skechers got one of the largest distribution or logistics centers in the world located here in the Inland Empire. Amazon, other large companies have decided this is the place to be. So, I mean, if you're in business and you're back east, you know, this is a place you want to look to either expand or grow your business. I mean, I'm sorry, it's got the perfect climate. Right now, if you're back east and you're a manufacturer or a business, you're probably down 1 to 2 months a year where you can't do business. Your employees can't get to work. You can't ship your products out. Here in Southern California, and especially in the Inland Empire, you can do it 365 days a year without a problem.
It's fine. You watch the Rose Bowl every year, and people back east see the incredible weather when they see that Rose Parade come on, and they say, well, you know, it's got to be a great place to live. It's 70 degrees there all year round, and while that may be true, it's good for business too, and it really shortens up the approach and the delivery time. Once upon a time, you'd order something from Amazon. You can expect anything you order take 5 to 7 days, and now it's very common that if you live on the West Coast or anywhere west of the Mississippi and you order from Amazon now, and it comes from their new distribution center, the delivery time, the wait time has been cut by just into a fraction of the amount of time you would have had to wait because of all these distribution channels now in the area. And as Dwight, you pointed out, there are so many others out there too that we haven't even talked about. But let's talk about promotion strategies for the inland Southern California region. We know that California CEO is used by many companies now as a way to kind of get the word out and to kind of expose their brand and talk about that. But let's talk about the different marketing efforts that we've seen in the past versus those that we're using today. And Dwight, we'll talk to you first of all about the advantages of some of the new marketing efforts that you are starting to employ or seeing some of the clients that are coming through that are starting to use.
Well, you not to boast, but what makes California CEO magazine different than local or regional magazines or newspapers in the region? If you advertise in one of the local newspapers or one of the local magazines, you're marketing to your own backyard. So if you run an ad in one of the local newspapers, say a city wants to promote economic development in the region and runs an ad in one of the local papers or magazines, they're marketing to themselves or marketing to other members of the inland Southern California region. What California CEO is, we're a nationally distributed magazine. Every one of our stories goes out on a national level. Our average, an average story that we do on California CEO gets picked up by not the newspaper in my backyard, but by over 250 other major news resources across the country. A good example is when we talk about regional issues, is we just did a story on California's water crisis with Celeste Cantun from SAPA. Normally, she's given that presentation to small groups within the different cities, and they may reach 30 or 40 individuals. And maybe the local newspaper carries it and it reaches another few thousand. We brought her in on Ron Loveridge's Randall Lewis series, and that program was picked up by 260 major news sites across the country. It received over 100,000 first-line Google or first-page Google impressions on that story. And if you do a Google search and put that story title in quotes right now, it shows up 25,000 times on a Google search. If you did that in the local newspaper, it'll show up once in the local newspaper. So what we're trying to do is collaborate with the regional chamber in providing that information to the rest of the country, if not the rest of the world. And the nice thing about working with the Inland Regional Chamber is that they're helping provide us the content. They're bringing us these major companies to come in and talk about what's right about this region and how we can improve it.
So Michelle, by then marketing and promoting the entire region as a whole, it seems that you are using numbers and the influence of geography and the successful businesses, many of them, of course, members of your own chamber, as part of that promotion. I mean, obviously that differs from the way business kind of used to be done, because companies would go and hire themselves an advertising agency and that would be it, and they know, okay, we'll caution to the wind, hopefully that'll work. But I mean, you're talking about marketing and promoting an entire region at once, aren't you?
Yes, we are. Yes, a regional branding is what we're looking at, yes.
Michelle is a new business owner in a community. I'm kind of setting up a scenario for you, all right? And I happen to be a business owner, but let's say I locate into the community from a different neighborhood or a different state, and I'm thinking about joining my local chamber, all right? And so I get the necessary materials, but then I find out about Inland Empire Regional Chamber of Commerce as well. Is there an advantage? Is there an advantage to joining IERCC over as opposed, say, to a local chamber, or can you envision maybe some good reasons why I might want to go ahead and consider joining both chambers, the local and the regional chamber?
Well, it clearly depends on the business and the geographic reach that they may or may not have at the moment. We do encourage the small business to join their local chamber. If they're looking into more of a regional branding for their business at this point, then we do encourage them obviously to join the regional chamber as well. Yes, absolutely.
Being a member of, several regional or local chambers and the Inland Empire Regional Chamber, it's vitally important that businesses still do business in their city. If they live or work in a city, they need to support that chamber because that chamber supports their community. But it's important that these chambers come together and collaborate on a regional level to support the region, because we're going to succeed or fail as a region, not as a city, not as an individual chamber, but as a region. So I think the Inland Regional Chamber is a better fit for larger companies, but if you have the wherewithal and you're in business, I think you should belong to both.
You've both used the word collaboration in our discussion quite a bit, but it's also a word that I think that over time could probably be overused, and the meaning could be somewhat cloudy. And we're starting to hear it used more and more, and for many of the reasons that we've discussed today, the general overall success of businesses, small, medium, large in general, and the economy, and growing the economy of the region. But what does collaboration really mean to you, Dwight? We'll start with you. I mean, taking what we know about the word and the definition, how do you see businesses really collaborating and getting together? I mean, ideally, what's the ideal picture you have in your head?
The idea of a collaboration, especially in the inland Southern California region, is how do we make this region grow and have a strong economy? And this is where companies come together and are creative and work together. And again, I'm going to go back to our Manufacturers Corner program. This is a program where manufacturers are coming together with other manufacturers and saying, this is my best practices, this is what I've done right, so that other manufacturers who are maybe unaware of what they're doing or how they're doing it can learn from one another. That's collaboration, helping each other succeed.
And Michelle, do you see the IERCC kind of playing a lead role in fostering that collaboration as we move ahead?
Well, we definitely play a role in being that liaison between the public and the private sector. So absolutely, I feel that with the strategic collaborations and the partnerships that we have in place, such as with California's CEO, we will move this region forward and continue to enjoy the quality of life we live.
Let's talk just a little bit, as we're kind of starting to run down a little bit on time here, but prospects for growth for the Inland Empire Regional Chamber of Commerce. Obviously, you talk to many people. You have a lot of different functions that you host, and your outreach obviously is very strong. But tell us what you're hearing, kind of with your ear to the rail, so to speak. Prospects for growth for the chamber in the year ahead.
In the year ahead, it's taking those strategic partnerships, such as manufacturers. We believe that exporting and domestic and international trade is going to be a key component for this region. And so we're focusing a lot on workforce development, economic development, and international trade.
And Dwight, you're in touch with so many different industry leaders as well. Tell us a little bit about what you're hearing. What are the prospects for growth, and what's the outlook?
Well, really, this region has very little not to offer. In some areas, we're becoming the medical hub, medical research, medical development. In the digital world, there's IT development, software development. There's manufacturer growth in this region. Like Michelle said, international trade and international growth is in this region. There isn't, if you're a business anywhere in the country, there isn't a better place to do business than in inland Southern California region. We have everything to offer. We're centrally located to LA, San Diego, Orange County, and the rest of the country. Again, this is the place you want to do business. This is the region. And again, no matter what city you decide to go to, every city can accommodate a certain type of business. So what I would suggest to businesses, both here and around the country, if you're interested in finding out more about this region, contact the regional EDAs, contact the chamber, contact San Bernardino or Riverside Economic Development Agency. They can direct you to the city or location that best fits your business. But this is the place to do business.
And that's a prime example is the economic Riverside and San Bernardino County sectors. They talk about collaboration. They've done an excellent job with working together and working with the Inland Empire Regional Chamber in collaboration with the businesses to grow.
I mean, the combination of Riverside and San Bernardino, those are nearly the two largest counties in the entire country. So if you combine those two, the two counties, it's probably the biggest region, economic region in the country. And again, if I'm not mistaken, California is the 8th largest economy in the world. So why wouldn't you want to be doing business here?
Final thoughts as we kind of go around the table with my two guests today. Michelle Gartner, as we kind of wrap up the discussion here, any takeaways, final thoughts that you might have before we end?
You know, the Inland Empire Regional Chamber is here to support the business community. And again, we are one region, we are here one voice. We're here as the liaison for the business community and the public sectors.
Dwight?
Again, I just want to see this region grow, and I'm looking for the support from all the businesses in the region to help make that happen.
Michelle Garton, President and CEO, IERCC, thanks so much for joining us today. And Dwight Cromie, President and CEO of Alltech Media Group and publisher of California CEO. It's good to have you again, too, in the studio.
Thank you.
And that wraps up this segment of California CEO. Thanks again to my guests, Michelle Garten, President and CEO of the Inland Empire Regional Chamber of Commerce, and Dwight Cromie, President of Alltech Media Group. If you'd like more information on this segment or on our guests, simply click on the link below this story. If you'd like to join us here in studio to talk about your business or to advertise with us, give us a call at 951-697-3098 or on the CaliforniaCEO.net website, simply click on Contact Us and submit the form. To view the show again or any of our other segments, visit us 24/7 at CaliforniaCEO.net, where you can also watch us on your iPad, smartphone, or other mobile device. And don't forget to connect with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Google+. I'm Jeff Allen. Thanks again for watching California CEO Magazine.